Well, hey everybody there in YouTube land. This is Rockin' Spirit, aka Jen, coming to you live. I just had some things that I've been dealing with in the last 24 hours, and it made me very mindful of a couple of situations that happen in everybody's life, and it's a fact. For any being that is living on this planet, and basically certainly for a Christian. So we'll start there first. There is a horizontal realm, which is the physical realm, and then there is a vertical realm, which is the spiritual realm. And Christians have access to live in both realms. They are flesh living in the natural for things of the natural, which are the dynamics that happen here on earth, the things we do, the things we eat, just anything that has to do with living on the earth, okay, the busyness and the things of this earth. And then there is a spiritual realm, and that spiritual realm is the connection where God is. The physical realm, unfortunately, is the domain of the enemy. He's the ruler, and he sets up his system down here on this plane that our flesh has to exist in. And our spiritual realm gets to rise above that and gets to have a communion with God on a spiritual level in the heavens. And so what is in heaven, we can carry out here on earth in a spiritual, natural realm. And what I mean by that is what we know in the spirit and what we communicate with God and what he communicates back to us in his government and system. We can carry out in the natural, in the world, in our flesh, by purposing that, by standing on that truth and then acting it out. But all too often, Christians keep their heads and their thoughts and their minds on a vertical level in the kingdom, forgetting that we are also living out a natural, fleshly existence here. And so we need to bring the spiritual realm to live out in the natural, so that we are not doing the works of the enemy in our flesh, but we are staying grounded and we are being witnesses here on this earth and all that we say and do. Well, I am going through a struggle with some dynamics in the natural realm. And so I have to make a decision. Do I want to execute and think on the natural realm? And then that's where the fear comes in, and doubt, procrastination, worry, when we are not engaging the spiritual realm in the earthly matters. So I can choose to let Satan's dominion over the flesh reality, and I can enter into the engagements of the day in that realm with his government, and I can let fear and doubt and anger and struggle and all these things take over and act out of those fears. Or I can choose to stay engaged in the spirit to God and his ways and truth, and I can refuse to let the things that's happening on an earthly level shake me. I can still choose to have faith in the struggle, hope in the struggle. I can lean on God. I can rest in his desire to do good for me, and that he is going to be there for me all the way, guiding me. And when you do that, the Lord has your back. He takes care of his own. He says so in his word. And so even though for a moment or a time it may look like from the natural, when I'm interacting with people, like there is no hope and things are futile, and I could either take their truth or I can take God's truth, that he will work all things for good, and that I can rest in whatever looks terrible down here in my natural existence, and I can give it to him. And I can dialogue with him where the enemy cannot even intercede in there and know my thoughts or the plans that the Lord has for me. And I can go into a prayer language that the enemy cannot hear and understand. Actually, he can actually hear the dialogue that I'm having in a spiritual heavenly language, but he can't make sense of it. It's all in code. Just like people that don't know computer, if they try to look at code, they're not going to understand what they're looking at. But that's how it is with God. When we speak in tongues in our heavenly language, God hears all that communication the enemy cannot hear and set up plans against us to defeat us or to cause upset and turmoil and put wrenches in the fire, and all that. So what I'm saying is stay connected to God, and if you're not connected to God, get connected to him, because his ways are higher and his ways are pure and true, and he is the only thing for us. The enemy is not for us. And if we live and deal on an earthly level, we will get Satan's best shot at us, and instead of God's goodness and God's remedy for things. So I'm struggling through a situation, and on an earthly level with an object that I own and a dynamic with people involved with that, and they are trickling little doubts. The enemy's trickling doubts through them to me to make me give up hope and get all upset. And I refuse to do that, because I've given my cares to God, and he knows my needs, and he knows what's best, and he knows the final outcome. I don't know the final outcome yet, but I can choose to be at rest with whatever God's design is, knowing that he is in control and it is not the enemy I gave control. And that glorifies God, and it will bring blessings to me in this situation. So I will give you testimony. I will have answers to this situation here that's doing its best to shake me and knock me off track. And I'm going to give that to God. And at the end of the day, I'm going to give you testimony based on me not looking at the circumstance and the voice of the enemy in that circumstance. And I'm going to give it to God, and I'm going to let him carry that and show me his power, because I trust in him. So with that, I bid you adieu. God bless, and make it a great day. Rock in spirit. Tune in and see the final outcome. Blessings.